Hello, Shalom. Welcome to Torah Reflections, a devotional series from Feeding Hope Fellowship where we are proclaiming the way, the truth, and the life of the Torah and Yeshua. Hey, let's get started. Hebrews 3:15 through chapter 4, verse 2. While it is said, "Today, if ye will hear his voice, harden not your hearts, as in the provocation. For some, when they had heard, did provoke. Howbeit, not all that came out of Egypt by Moses. But with whom was he grieved 40 years? Was it not with them that had sinned, whose carcasses fell in the wilderness? And to whom sware he that they should not enter into his rest, but to them that believed not?" So we see that they could not enter in because of unbelief. "Let us therefore, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it, for unto us was the gospel preached, as well as unto them. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that had heard it." Okay, so in this passage, there's a lot being said, and it's going to be impossible for me to cover everything in such a short devotional time. The part that I do want to focus on is actually in verse 2 of chapter 4. Now, I want to tell you, all my life, preachers, pastors, and Sunday school teachers have told me that the gospel is the good news of Yeshua, Jesus Christ. But I want you to pay attention. What are we finding in this passage? This passage is referring back to the Exodus. It's going back 1,500 years or so. It says, for in verse 2 of chapter 4, it says, "For unto us was the gospel preached." Now he's talking about in present time of his writing. This is after the crucifixion. Okay, "For unto us the gospel was preached." And then he says, comma, "as well as unto them." So the gospel was preached to us and to them during the Exodus. Wait a minute. The Exodus was about 1,500 years prior to the crucifixion, so how could the good news or the gospel be preached to them in their time? By now, if you've been listening to these devotionals from the beginning, you probably figured out the very simple answer to this question. If not, I'm going to tell you. The Torah, the law of God, has always been the good news or the gospel. You see, this is nothing more than just another instance where we see biblical proof in the scriptures that Yeshua is the Torah. The living, breathing, walking, talking, Holy Spirit fire Torah. Are we not supposed to be like him? Is that not what the requirement is? Is that not what the outcome that God is looking for in our lives, that we become more like him? 1 John chapter 2, verse 6. "He that saith he abideth in him ought himself also so to walk, even as he walked." What more do you need? I mean, if Jesus was the walking, talking Torah, he walked in Torah. That's what he came to do. He came to show us the way. If Yeshua was the Torah in the flesh, and he was, and we are to be like him, and we are, doesn't it make sense that we would study the Torah and do the Torah, the very thing that he is, not for our salvation, but because of our salvation? Y'all make it a blessed day. I love you. God loves you.